Hello Internet, Farrell here. Today we're at Equinox Seaside to add a new build to the area. Yes, I'm finally getting around to building something that actually looks like a ship on the server. Now it's my first time actually doing such a build, so I'm actually using plans that have been published by Colt Coyote over on DeviantArt. This is actually his Brig Mark II design. So the idea was to originally have this ship in the harbor, at least tied up at the wharf leading over to the jungle island. Unfortunately, the ship's actually a little too big for that, for any of the areas really. And that eventually led to me considering, well, maybe we should put over the waterfall at the end of the island to make it look like it's kind of an airship taking off from the lake and going into the air. That didn't work out either because that part of the island is also very much tight and didn't really lend itself well to moving the ship there, as you'll see. So it's not perfect, but eventually I did decide on putting it out in the void. It's actually off the intersection there, and you may actually remember I actually teased this in the world tour video that I put out a few days ago. That there's docks, but there's actually no ship there. Well, that would be why. So this is the Wolfsbane as it's being built. It's not a perfect design. It was also intended really more to be in the water than viewable from the water, so I suspect that's why the blueprints don't really have a lot of things like stairs doing smoothing on the outside of the hull and everything. But I'm hoping I'm going to be able to go back to this design over time and kind of do little tweaks and changes here and there, and just try to really kind of get it as inspiration strikes to where I think it's a good point. Well, if only I could actually figure out what to build in the harbor in its place. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.